Hi, PerspectiveWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Thursday, April 1st, and a cold blast that we've been talking about for several days now has arrived in the eastern part of the nation. It looks like temperatures will be way below normal right through Friday night into this day on Saturday. All across the eastern U.S. from Maine down to Florida. There could be some near record or record lows tomorrow morning, and then again on Saturday morning. It looks like the temperatures will go down below freezing, even into the I-95 corridor region of D.C., Philadelphia, New York City during the next couple of nights. The weekend does show some signs of improvement. It looks like temperatures will jump 5 or 10 degrees on Saturday, and then another 5 or 10 degrees on Sunday. Looks like a pretty nice day across much of the eastern and southern U.S. for Easter Sunday. We do have a negative North Atlantic oscillation. We've talked about this as well over the past several days. Typically this time of the year and throughout the winter season in general into the early spring, the negative NAO suggests there may be a blocking pattern over the northern part of Canada, over Greenland, and that can lead to cold air intrusions into the central or eastern U.S. We have this cold air outbreak for the next couple of days now into the eastern U.S. and with a negative NAO over the next couple of weeks, we can expect to see some more cold air outbreaks, maybe even what we call backdoor cold fronts, and we'll talk about that in a moment here. But here's the NAO forecast. Right now about neutral, but it's red here represents the forecast, and it goes into negative territory over the next couple of days and stays negative, it looks like, at least right into the middle part of April. So we now have begun April, and don't be surprised to see at least another cold air outbreak or two reach the northeastern part of the country. And again, this time of the year, especially in the month of April, we'll have to watch for potential backdoor cool fronts. Well, what exactly is a backdoor cool front? Might as well talk about that a little bit here right now, because I think, again, we'll probably have several possibilities of backdoor cool fronts over the next several weeks here in the northeastern part of the nation. Typically, we have a cold frontal system that travels from the west to the east across the nation in this fashion. Again, from the west to the east, and of course, we also have those frontal systems that travel from the northwest to the southeast. But every once in a while, especially this time of the year, you can get what we call a backdoor cool front, because it comes in a different direction. It really travels from the northeast to the southwest. And with ocean temperatures still quite chilly this time of the year, any kind of a backdoor cool front can cause a wind shift, lower level winds to go to a northeasterly direction, and with temperatures in the 40s in the western Atlantic Ocean, air temperature can drop in a hurry from the 60s, let's say, to the 40s in just a matter of a couple of hours with a little bit of a shift of a northeast wind. And that is a rather common occurrence in April in the northeastern part of the nation. Again, anybody who's lived a long time in New England, for example, knows what we're talking about when we talk about backdoor cool fronts that can drop temperatures from the 60s to the 40s in just a short period of time in places like Boston, New York City, even Philadelphia and D.C. And typically what will generate a backdoor cold front will be a high pressure system building up into the southeastern part of Canada, or even low pressure off the New England coastline, which can produce a low-level northeast flow of air. So again, with NAO in negative territory over the next few weeks, watch out for the possibility of backdoor cool fronts for the northeastern part of the nation into the mid-Atlantic region. Well, let's take a look at the forecast maps from the 12Z run of the Gfs model, and we have a cold blast that has arrived now in the mid-Atlantic region. It is penetrating into the southeastern part of the nation. This is the forecast map for the early afternoon from the 12Z operational run of the GFS, way below normal temperatures here at 850 millibars. And again, temperatures will drop to below freezing, even into the I-95 corridor region from D.C. to Boston, late tonight, early Friday, and again, late tomorrow night, early Saturday, and then temperatures will ease over the upcoming weekend, ease into milder territory, probably confined to the 40s today and tomorrow in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, but the 50s on Saturday and the 60s on Easter Sunday. Let's move forward here, and the coldest core of this air really arrives by early tomorrow morning. I expect to see some near record lows or record lows in much of the eastern part of the nation, really extending from Maine down to Florida. There can be some record low temperatures tomorrow morning, and again on Saturday morning here. Again, the coldest core of this air mass relative to normal looks like it moves right over the mid-Atlantic region early Friday. Let's move forward here. It stays cold right through the day on Friday, and again right into the early part of the upcoming weekend. We do get a little bit milder by Saturday afternoon with a day filled with sunshine, and then a little bit milder again on Sunday. But notice here on Sunday, late in the day on Sunday, you have this colder than normal air. This is really kind of a symptom of a backdoor cold front with, you can see this tends to track from the northeast to the southwest during the day on Sunday. So we won't get extremely warm by any means over the upcoming weekend. We still have a little bit of cold air that's going to hang around right through the upcoming weekend. And again, that is supported by the idea of a negative NAO, but very cold relative to normal today and tomorrow, and then still a bit on the cool side, especially to start the upcoming weekend, but we do get a little bit easing of that chill Saturday afternoon, especially during the day on Sunday. Let's move ahead here, and we have a warm-up will be much easier to evolve here over the middle part of the nation. And again, that's because the NAO is in negative territory. That keeps the northeastern part of the nation potentially under the gun for some colder than normal air. We have this high latitude blocking with high pressure over northern Canada, Greenland, and here we are now into the Monday evening forecast time. Again, the warm-up is much easier in this kind of a pattern over the middle part of the nation than it is over New England. Here we are all the way into Tuesday of next week, still some cooler than normal air, again, supported by that negative NAO. Well, now let's take a look at the surface forecast maps. It's, again, from the 12Z run of the operational version of the GFS. Look at all this snow. Interior sections of New England, interior sections of the northeast part of the nation, even some flakes seen earlier this morning all the way down to the northern suburbs of D.C. A few ice pellets mixed in as well. It is opening day today. The Phillies start at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Washington has a game, the Nationals against the Mets this afternoon. The Yankees open up in New York this afternoon. All experiencing windy, cold conditions. Bring a winter coat if you're going to any of those games. It's the first time fans will show up in the stands since the 2019 season. A nasty day in Boston as well as the Red Sox open up here. Look at this pressure gradient here by this evening. Approaching high pressure over the Midwest and departing low pressure, tight pressure gradient in between, extending from that low pressure to the high pressure. And that tells us we have strong winds out of the northwest this afternoon, this evening, going into the day on Friday. Even in some scattered snow showers up across upstate Pennsylvania, western and central New York State. Let's now move into the Friday morning forecast map. And one thing I want to point out, notice this 516 thickness line right here. We've talked before about these 1,000 to 500 millibar thickness lines that show up with these dashed blue lines on the GFS forecast maps here. That thickness actually drops from today. Notice here the 522 thickness cutting across central Pennsylvania early this afternoon, and those thicknesses drop all the way through the overnight hours into the morning on Friday. And that's what I was talking about a little while ago, about the coldest core of this air relative to normal will be situated right over the mid-Atlantic region tomorrow morning. So expect some near record or record lows up and down the East Coast, maybe again from Maine to Florida, but especially centered over the mid-Atlantic region. It'll be way below normal tomorrow morning with temperatures below the freezing mark. Any kind of outdoor sensitive plants could be in jeopardy here. Again, at 5:16, this is a very impressive cold blast for the early part of April. Notice after this, the thickness starts to push to the north and east, that lowest thickness to the north and east, and that tells us that the coldest core of the air pushes away later in the day tomorrow, but with high pressure pretty much on top of the mid-Atlantic region later tomorrow night into Saturday morning. Expect again temperatures to drop to or below the freezing mark, even in the big cities of D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. Very cold start to the weekend. The chill will ease, though, a little bit over Saturday afternoon and into the day on Sunday, which is Easter. But look at this pattern here. We talked about this a little while ago. The backdoor cool front kind of a pattern here with high pressure situated in southeastern Canada and low pressure off the northeast coastline. That'll promote a kind of a low-level northeast flow of air, preventing any kind of a substantial warm-up at a minimum. We won't get a substantial warm-up through the upcoming weekend because of this kind of a negative NAO pattern, this backdoor cool front kind of a pattern in the northeastern part of the nation. Nonetheless, there will be plenty of sunshine Saturday and again on Sunday. Let's go now into next week. Still, high pressure over southeastern Canada, low pressure off the New England coastline, kind of a low-level north to northeast flow, preventing any kind of a big warm-up into the early part of next week. But we will have plenty of sunshine. Looks like a relatively dry pattern. Then we have to look for a system over the upper part of the Midwest. Could throw a few showers of rain into the mid-Atlantic region, but still thickness here quite low for the early part of April, all the way cutting through Pennsylvania here again. Kind of a backdoor cool front, a negative NAO type of pattern in the northeastern part of the nation. So the cold blast has arrived. Much colder than normal temperatures throughout the eastern U.S. for the next 48 hours. And again, watch out. Temperatures will go to below freezing even into the I-95 corridor region, not only late tonight, early Friday, but again, late Friday night, early Saturday. That's it for now. For PerspectiveWeather.com, this is meteorologist Paul Dorian.